Greetings to you all. This is the Mwalim Arnold Sekago at Mwalim Education Services. So we are here to explore some of the concepts to do with the organic chemistry. Yeah, particularly how uh, one can structure a standardized response to an organic item as far as the current trends are concerned. You know, at school I told you uh, this is a new curriculum. This is a new curriculum, somehow similar to what you went through at ordinary level. However, here the only difference is that the information is a bit advanced, but it is a new curriculum. So, being a new curriculum, some things were changed, and therefore you never sat down and drafted some assessment guidelines, and the chemistry was among the subjects in which those guidelines were structured. So, as far as chemistry is concerned, you very well know by now, some of you, the structure of the paper. So, I'm not here to discuss the structure of the paper. I'm mainly here interested in particularly the organic area, the organic part of the paper. Yeah, so a standard paper of chemistry has two scenarios for organic, and you are supposed to do one. So it has two scenarios of organic chemistry where you are supposed to choose one. Yeah, so here I am interested in how can a student draft a standardized response so that he or she can attain all the necessary levels of achievement as per UNEB is concerned. Now, uh, uh, we have the following. This video is suitable for students, I think mainly senior 5. Yeah, why so? Because my items are a bit basic. Yeah, I should admit they are a bit basic because my students haven't covered a lot. So senior 6 you can watch, yeah, you can watch and follow, but fundamentally I was targeting my learners in senior 5. So what are we saying? A standard item of organic chemistry should capture the following standardized response. So your uh, the items which you are going to encounter, they should capture a response in this form. So any standard scenario on organic chemistry must capture the following. Must capture the following. However, I should tell you that it may not necessarily capture it. It may not necessarily capture it, but you as a learner, you are supposed to ensure that all the following are embedded within your response. So, given a standard, what do I mean by standard? There are items that teachers usually structure at school when they are kind of knowledge based. Maybe I can give you an item. I want to check and see whether you've mastered nomenclature. I want to check and see whether you've mastered some mechanisms. So I give you a straight item that write a mechanism for this reaction. Name the major organic product. Explain how those ones are. They are not scenario. They are knowledge based. I want to check your level of comprehension on something. However, a standard scenario, you know what I mean by scenario. So in your response, if a scenario, I'm going to show you, the good thing is that I'm going to show you such scenarios, how they look like. So given a standard item of organic, this is how you are supposed to capture your response. So bullet one, your response is supposed to demonstrate that you understand physical property or properties of an organic compound in relation to structure or nature. So what do I mean? Here you are supposed to give all the necessary explanations of the physical properties. However, for the physical properties, an item can provide a hint You have covered alkanes. Maybe they can tell you that uh, a company wants to choose a good or a clean cooking fuel. A clean cooking fuel, it doesn't produce soot. Maybe it also has a low boiling point, or it has a higher boiling point. Things to so an item can provide a hint. So you have to interpret the item and identify the physical properties of interest. Then you explain those physical properties in relation to, for example, if you say that uh, butane has a low boiling point. Indeed, it has a low boiling point. Why? It has a low boiling point because of the simple molecular structure in which molecules are held together by weak bonding forces of attraction. Those are the necessary explanations. So your response is supposed to capture clear comprehension of physical properties, giving necessary explanations. Then from giving physical properties, then your response, in your response, you are also supposed to analyze correctly, bullet two, you are supposed to analyze correctly organic reactions using mechanism. Yeah. So what do I mean? Given a standard item of organic, somewhere the item may not tell you directly, somewhere you'll be required to outline mechanisms for the reactions. Maybe they tell you butane, the factory is also interested in synthesis of insecticides. Insecticides which can come synthesis of additives that can be used in manufacture of insecticides, and those additives can be obtained when case in point hexane reacts with chlorine. Now you have to analyze that reaction and outline the mechanism for its reaction for the reaction. However, currently, I said currently, don't quote me. You never know. You know, UNEB keeps on updating this information. You never know at the end of the year or next year, yeah, because this is a dynamic curriculum. It is a curriculum that is under investigation. That's why UNEB subjects pretest. So currently, you are supposed, given a scenario, you are supposed to outline two mechanisms for the reaction. In particular, the item should capture two mechanisms. Understood? The item should capture two mechanisms. Yeah, so currently, however, it can change, you never know. Then, bullet three, you are supposed to evaluate correctly synthetic pathways of organic compounds. Maybe uh, we want to synthesize natural gas, methane. We want to synthesize natural gas, methane, but we have a carboxylic acid. So that item should also capture synthetic routes. So they will tell you it may not be directly, maybe the factory is interested in synthesizing methane. It is interested in synthesizing methane. However, the only raw material which they have in the store is a carboxylic acid. Now you will be required to explain, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you how to do that. How to uh, synthesize organic compounds. So then finally the first one, you are supposed, so you see the first one was physical properties, demonstrate clear understanding, explain them clearly. That was the first one, physical properties, irrespective of how the item is structured. So long as you realize that it is a standard scenario, physical properties are supposed to be there. Mechanisms for the reaction. The item will tell you which mechanism it is interested in. Synthetic pathways. The item will also provide a hint on which compounds it wants you to synthesize. Then bullet four, evaluate application. In fact, bullet four, I summarize bullet four as the EA. Hope I can write here. Bullet four. This bullet four, I summarize it as EA. Evaluate application. You are supposed to give application of the organic compound. You are supposed to evaluate dangers associated to use of that organic compound. Then you are also supposed to explain mitigations. You see, EAEDEM, evaluate application. What are some of the applications of the organic compound given in the organic compound or compounds given in the scenario? What are some of the dangers associated to them? Organic compounds are highly flammable, can easily catch fire, it's highly volatile. What? Some combust with production of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, and then you see all that. So application give how essential is that alkane. It consists of carbon atoms that burn exothermically to produce energy. It can be applied as a solvent. It uses, but well explained uses, not just matter of this thing there. Then you also explain some dangers, then also mitigate those dangers. I've said bullet one, the your response. The item may not necessarily capture all these before. Yes, I need to be understood on that. It may not necessarily capture the four, it may not necessarily capture all the four. You ensure that you've commented on physical practice, not necessarily commenting on them, but explain clearly in relation to the scenario we are going to see this clearly. Then you are supposed to analyze organic reactions using mechanisms. You are supposed to outline mechanisms for reaction of them always provide a hint on the hello come come on. My network is a bit poor, but we shall manage. Let me see. Shall manage. Let me see. Yeah. Hope I'm there. Yeah, so I was saying that you're supposed to evaluate application, evaluate danger, and explain mitigation. Then, in summary, now you see I've summarized them here. Well explained physical properties. You may not capture all the statements above, so long as you've noted them down, that is crucial. But this is the summary. Well explained physical properties in relation to the scenario, outline mechanisms for the reactions, synthesize organic compounds. This is the summarized response structure. Physical properties, two or three, well explained. Mechanisms for the reaction, synthesize organic compound. The item will provide a hint on that. And evaluate application, evaluate danger, and the mitigation. So allow me first stop this here and come back with another video. Yeah, I think.